Welcome back to Hotham's Apiary. I'm Jason Hotham, and in this video I'm going to inspect the weaker colony and the colony next to it. I hope that both are doing well, and I hope that I can give a honey super to both of them. We'll see. Keep watching. You gotta stay hydrated. All right, let's get started. If I can find my hive tool, there it is. So I'm on the weaker colony right now, and these ones are, basically where I thought they would be at this point in time. It'll be interesting to see how that brood nest has expanded. So what we saw last week is eggs should start to become small larvae, little larvae in there. Let's take a look and see how far they've come along. Try to remove a outside frame here. This has a lot of fresh nectar in it. That's interesting. I don't think I should give these bees a honey super right now. Have to make a decision on that, because if I wait too long and I give them a honey super after they've already cleared out the brood nest to store honey, then it will take them a lot longer to get their numbers up, and also it will take them a lot longer to bring in the amount of nectar that we need in the honey super for harvesting. So I have to time this right. Theoretically, I could give them a honey super right now, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea for them, because as I said, they are not developing as quickly as I had hoped that they would. Yeah, this is full of nectar and full of food. I'm going to have to do something about this. I guess I could... Now let's take a look at the next frame. Not quite sure. I haven't really shown any frames yet from this hive, but as you can see, the numbers are not really that great. This is just an outside frame. It's not even on the brood nest, but still, this next frame will give me a little bit better indication as the development is concerned. Oh, they're actually putting a lot of nectar into where I want them to brood. That's not good. I'm going to have to give them a honey super. They do not have much brood at all. Hopefully, I haven't seen the queen yet either, but hopefully she's okay and that she's laying eggs. I've seen eggs in here. I haven't seen the queen yet. Well, there's a couple of things I can do. I can just leave the hive as it is and just see how they develop. Or I can do some other things. I can take out some frames. I can make the hive smaller. I can only give them a certain amount of room for them to work with. I don't know. Just want to check again what the brood situation was here. Yeah, I'm just going to have to give them more time. And within a couple of weeks, the canola blossoms will be in full bloom. Very small brood nest. All right, so I'm going to close up this hive, this colony. Haven't really changed a whole lot since the last time I took a look. They do have more nectar, but they do not have much more brood. So this could be, hopefully not, but it could be a lost cause. We'll just have to hope for the best. Luckily, I have two other colonies that are in really good shape. So let's see what happens. All right, let's move on to the next colony. Very active. It's a good sign. Alright. Alright, this was the frame last time that was just full of honey. It's still full of honey, still full of food. Give it a shake. But they're also bringing in lots of nectar, so they also need a honey super. Okay, we'll get one today. So I'll take out an additional frame here. Place this one here. This colony will also get a drone frame. If you watch my last video, you know what a drone frame is and what it's for. So I recommend watching that video. Here's a nice brood nest. We've never really been successful in seeing the queen from this colony, but there's lots of eggs in here. And the last time I inspected this colony, I had made the comment that there was a bee who was carrying bright red pollen. And so I did a little research and I found out that that bright red pollen comes from snowdrops. It's a white flower, and I was pretty surprised that they would have red pollen. Yeah, so this colony is also placing nectar around the brood nest. They need to be placing that in the honey super, so I'll have to give them a honey super today. Still no sight of the queen. The queen is very good at eluding me, but I know she's there. Maybe on the next frame I'll have better luck. Still lots of eggs, and you can see there's a good shot of some brood right next to capped food and pollen in between. No sight of the queen, except for her eggs, of course. Also lots of food, lots of nectar, lots of pollen. So these bees definitely need to start building in the honey super. So I've removed 2. I'm going to take 2 more out. So once again, here's a drone frame. I painted the top black so that I can see where I actually place this inside of the hive. It makes it easier for me to find it, because later on when I have to cut out the wax that contains the drone brood, I might not want to open the entire hive. I just want to go directly and get this frame out, cut it out, and then put it back in. So I'll just set this inside the hive body. And I will remove this frame from the outside because it is also a food frame, empty food frame. Let me see if this other one also has lots of food on it still. No, it doesn't have lots of food. It's quite empty actually, but that's okay. So I'll shake that one off as well. And that one I will just put to the side. My wire over here. One. This bottom wire is always really difficult to tighten up. I think I just made it worse, actually. There we go. Tighten up that top one, helps it out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I will place this one back in. 10. Always try to have an even amount of space between the frames and the hive body. Okay, so the next step is I have to place a queen excluder on top of the brood chamber. So the spacing of the wires, as I mentioned in another video, only allows the worker bees to pass through and to go up into the honey chamber where they can deposit the nectar, and then later on when it comes time for me to extract the honey, I don't have to worry about there being any larvae or the queen on any of those frames. Now I need a hive body. Go ahead and take this one, and I'll just set that on top. Make sure everything's lined up nicely. Okay, so this hive body, let me see if I can set this up a little bit differently. I have ordered a tripod, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks you'll be able to see things the way I see it. So basically this is the setup now. Now I have, here's the brood chamber, here is the queen excluder, and here is the honey super. So, and as you can see, I've already placed inside the honey super some frames. I'm going to change the configuration a little bit. I'm going to put in the middle some frames that already have drawn out comb, and this frame right here that has honey already on it. I'm going to place it inside there. So hopefully they'll get things going. They'll move that food that's in the brood chamber, they'll move it up into the honey chamber, or into the honey super, and the bees will then be bringing in the nectar that I will later harvest as honey. Okay, so let's see. These I will have to tighten as well, but I probably won't need all of these empty frames. Let me place the one that has the honey on it already right in the middle. Right in the middle? Let me think if that's a good idea. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to place the frame that has honey on it inside of the honey super. I'm going to take that out. I can use that frame later when I make splits so that the bees have food. So I will take that frame out again, and I'm just going to put it to the side. Instead, what I'll do is I'm going to place some frames of honeycomb that was drawn out last year inside just to get the bees started. They don't really need something to get them started, but it seems to speed up the process. The faster they get into that honey super, the faster they will accept it, and the faster they will continue to bring their nectar into that honey super. So in total, I give them 3 of these already drawn out honeycomb frames. And the rest will be empty wire frame. Technical difficulties. The wire's stuck underneath. Okay, here we go. You know what? I was just thinking. I will give them some of these wire frames, but I'm also going to give them 1 or 2 frames with wax foundation already on them. That frame is warped. I'll give them 1 of those. There's a wax foundation on there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 more. So I'll have another one. I'll put that on this side, on the outside. And then I'll throw this one in. Just experiment a little bit. Don't be afraid to experiment. The worst thing, well, I don't want to say the worst that can happen. The worst that can happen if you do something really wrong is you might lose your bees. But as far as, like, you know, comb is concerned, or frames are concerned, how the bees should draw out their frames, their comb, feel free to try things out. You never know. You might find a way that you never used before that works pretty well. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. I need 3 more. I have 3 here. I don't want to use that one. That one's kind of old. Let's go with a newer one here. Tighten these wires down. Nine, and the last one. right. So the same thing, I just try to center up the frames so that they fit nicely inside. Then I can place the plastic back on top. Put a, where's the cover? We should take the right cover. Okay. Cover it up. And that's that. If you haven't already done it and you enjoy watching these videos, please subscribe. There'll be more videos to come, especially in the next couple of weeks when hopefully I'll be able to harvest some honey. So as I said, subscribe, keep watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun beekeeping.